Okay, so I have taken my sketch and traced it onto my watercolor paper, and I have actually decided to do something a little different than what the sketch is, and that is that I took out the moon. So I figured I always show you guys nighttime scenes. I just love creating them. But I thought for a change we'll do a daytime sky. So all I did was take out that moon, and then I added another little mountain range right here with some smaller trees here, which you don't even have to include. So I'm going to get started working on the background, and you're going to be shocked, but I'm going to wet it first. So the color that you'll need for this is just a blue. I am going to be using phthalo blue, but really any blue that you have and like will totally work for this. And I might also use some mauve in my sky, so we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so I've got my background all wet, and now I'm going to go in with some blue paint. So I'm using, this is maybe a 7, 8, so a little bit of a larger brush, and definitely you want to make sure that your paint is watery and fairly light. You don't want it too intense because we're doing a daytime scene, so you don't want it too intense like when we do the nighttime. So all I'm going to do is start at one side and take it all the way over to the other side. And I'll do that a couple of times, and you want to make sure that you leave some white in between some of these. You don't want to make perfect lines, nothing perfect here. We're just trying to make some kind of cloud forms within the sky. So just kind of let your paint flow around. When you get close to his head, just have to be kind of careful and keep the flow going in this direction. So you don't want to do any lines like this. You definitely want to keep going from side to side. So once I get a few of those in, I've pretty much covered up the top area there. Then I'm going to take my paper and tilt it so that the water starts to kind of push this way, and those will start to kind of run together. And while that's all happening, I'm dropping down to a little smaller brush, and I'm going to grab some mauve, once again watery and light, and I'm going to bring that color right into this blue. So mimicking the same lines. Bringing a few up into the sky, or up into the top part of the sky. And filling in this portion here that's next to my mountains. So this is almost like evening is starting to set in, sun's going down, and we've got some color in the sky. So I think that looks lovely. So what's probably going to happen is that water is going to push up to your edge here, and you're going to get this bundle of water there. So what you want to do is take a brush, take the water off of it, tap it off, and then lightly pick that water up into your brush and tap it off onto your mat or your towel. And that way, what will happen is if you leave it there, this will start to dry, but this will still be wet, and it'll push back on it and it'll give you a big bloom up there. So you just want to mop that water up. There we go. So now I'm going to let that dry, and we'll start to paint in our trees.